Hello everyone, I'm Rajesh. Before getting started with the course, quickly take the pre-test. This test will score your basic knowledge on power cables concepts before you take the online course. This test includes questions with multiple choice single select and multiple choice multiple select options. Read the question, select the correct options and submit it. On successful completion, you will be provided with the pre-test score and directed to the e-learning page. This course will familiarize you with the different concepts related to power cables. This course is divided into two parts. Part 1 deals with defining the power cables, the construction of power cables, methods of laying cables and jointing of cables. By the end of this module, you will be able to define an electrical power cable, explain the construction of power cable, describe the guidelines for cable laying and installation, describe the methods of cable laying and installation, explain the jointing of cables. What an electrical power cable is. Electric power can be transmitted or distributed either by overhead system or by underground cable. Power cables are mainly used for power transmission and distribution purpose. It is an assembly of one or more individually insulated electrical conductors, usually held together with an overall sheath. Electrical power cables may be installed as permanent wiring within buildings buried in the ground or can run overhead or exposed. These are designed and manufactured as per voltage, current to be carried, operating maximum temperature and purpose of applications desired by customer. The underground cables have several advantages such as less liable for damage through storms, lightning, low maintenance cost, less chances of falls, smaller voltage drop, and better general appearance. That you know what an electrical cable is, let us understand the various parts of it. There are various parts of a cable to be taken care of during construction. The power cable mainly consists of conductor, insulation, inner sheath, armor, PVC outer sheath. Click each of the tabs to learn more. Conductors are the only power carrying path in a power cable. Conductors are of different materials. Mainly in cable industry, we use copper or ATC, ABC and aluminium conductors for power cables. There are different types of conductor as class 1, solid, class 2, stranded, class 5, flexible, class 6, extra flexible. or mostly used for cords and welding, etc. Conductor sizes are identified with conductor resistance. Click on the PDF icon to download the document on permissible currents across the conductors. The insulation provided on each conductor of a cable by mainly PVC, polyvinyl chloride, XLPE, cross-linked polyethylene, rubber, various types of rubber. Insulation material is based on operating temperature. Cores are identified by color coding by using different colors on insulation or by number printing on cores. Click on the PDF icon to download the document on maximum operating temperatures. This portion of the cable is also known as inner sheath. Mostly, it is used in multi-core cables. It works as binder for insulated conductors together in multi-core power cables and provides bedding to armor or braid. This portion of cable is mainly made of PVC, rubber. Armoring is a process which is done mainly for providing earthing shield to the current carrying conductors, as well as it is also used for earthing purpose of the cable for safety. When there is any insulation failure in the conductor, the fault current gets enough paths to flow through the armor if it's properly earthed. Providing extra mechanical protection and strength to cable is an important added advantage of armoring. In mining cables, it is done for conductance. There are mainly GI, wire armoring, GI steel strip armoring. It is done by placing GI wires, GI or steel strips one by one on inner sheath. This is outermost cover of the cable, normally made of polyvinyl chloride, various types of rubber and often the same material as the bedding. It is provided over the armor for overall mechanical, weather, chemical and electrical protection. Outer sheath is protection offered to cable not much electrically but more mechanically. Click on the PDF icon to download the document on advantages and disadvantages of different sheath materials. The insulation provided on each conductor of a cable. As you see, on the screen are two types of cables, H-type and HSL type. The different parts of a H-type cable are perforated metalled paper, conductors, lead sheath, serving, bedding, armoring, jute packing, steel wire armor. The different parts of a HSL type cable are conductors, lead sheath, steel wire armor, jute packing, paper insulation, compounded tape, compounded Hessian type. Moving on, we will now get familiar with the guidelines for cable laying and installation. Talking about guidelines, the Indian Standards 1255 1983 are considered for cable laying and installation. Selection of the route becomes the key for laying the power cables. It should first be decided keeping in view the immediate and ultimate use of the cable as an integrated part of the transmission and distribution system. There are various methods of cable laying and installation. They are laying direct in ground, drawing in ducts, laying on racks in air, laying on racks inside a cable tunnel, laying along buildings or structures. As you see, the table on the screen gives us the values for the minimum radii that a cable can be bent against its voltage values. The values are listed for the paper-insulated lead-covered polyvinyl chloride and the cross-linked polyethylene cables. D in the table represents diameter of the cable. Let's now delve deeper into the various methods of laying cables. On the screen are the standard values of the desired minimum depth of laying cables from the ground to the top of the cable. These values vary with respect to the voltage and location where they are supposed to be laid. The values shown have been laid down as per the Indian Standards 1255-1893. The desired minimum clearance values are as follows. The second method of laying cables is to put them into ducts. The correct and the incorrect methods of pulling the cables from the ducts have been illustrated on the screen. Click each tab to learn more. The correct practice is to draw the cable from the duct in the direction shown on the screen. This ensures that the cable drum does not trip. The laying of the cable should be in the same direction as the rolling. Drawing the cable from the direction shown on the screen will cause the cable drum to experience a torque and ultimately slip. In this method, cables are placed over the trenches or racks and placed overhead. This is similar to that of laying cables underground, the only difference being the clearance values and the location where they are laid. This method has an edge over the others as it helps identify faults through visual inspection. When the cables are in unventilated tunnel, the heat generated in the cables is dissipated only through the walls of the tunnel. Consequently, there is an increase in the temperature of the cables and accordingly, a proper derating has to be applied to the current carrying capacity of the cables installed in the tunnel. As per the standards, these are the limiting values to be kept in mind while laying cables inside a tunnel. Distance between two racks 30 centimeters. Height of the tunnel 1.5 meters. Width of the tunnel 2.2 meters. When the cables are in unventilated tunnel, the heat generated in the cables is dissipated only through the walls of the tunnel. Consequently, there is an increase in the temperature of the cables installed in the tunnel and accordingly, a proper derating has to be applied to the current carrying capacity of the cables installed in the tunnel. As per the standards, these are the limiting values to be kept in mind while laying cables inside a tunnel. Distance between two racks 30 centimeters. Height of the tunnel 1.5 meters. Width of the tunnel 2.2 meters. This method is again similar to that of the laying cables in air. Cable trays are used in this method as well. The cable trays are installed against the buildings or structures. This helps in laying cables. We will now look at the various methods the cables have to be pulled in order to lay them underground, in tunnels or in air. Click each tab to learn more. The cable needs to be pulled in a manner that it does not roll over. The right way to pull it has been represented through dotted lines on the screen. The radius is supposed to be 3 to 4 meters. Pulling a cable in 8 ensures that an extra portion of cable is retained in the cable trench. This helps easy laying of the cables in case of any future failures. The faulty portion is easily removed and the extra portion is used for making a join. The cables might get damaged due to the friction of the round while being pulled. To avoid this, cable rollers are installed at various points in the cable trench and are pulled over them. Various types of cable rollers are shown on the screen. Maximum force that can be applied on a cable is given by the maximum permissible tensile strength. The tensile strength for cables pulled with stocking is as shown. As you see, if the cables are pulled by gripping the conductor directly with pulling eye, the maximum permissible tensile stress depends on the material of the conductor and on their cross section as given below. For aluminium conductors, 30 Newton per millimeter square. For copper conductors, 50 Newton per millimeter square. The cable pulling eyes, used primarily for paper insulated cables, should seal off the cable ends so that they are watertight. They are specially made for each type of cable. On the screen is an example illustrated. Be applied on a cable is given by the maximum permissible tensile strength. The tensile strength for cables pulled with stocking is as shown. As you see, if the cables are pulled by gripping the conductor directly with pulling eye, The maximum permissible tensile stress depends on the material of the conductor and on their cross section as given below. For aluminium conductors, 30 Newton per millimeter square. For copper conductors, 50 Newton per millimeter square. The cable pulling our eyes, used primarily for paper insulated cables, should seal off the cable ends so that they are watertight. They are specially made for each type of cable. On the screen is an example illustrated. To understand the jointing of cables, it is essential to be familiar with various parts of a joint box. As you see, the various elements are manual saw or cutter, HLS tool, PVC tape, rolled emily cloth, penciling tool, copper screen sleeve, connectors, insulation tapes, resin bag, resin injection bag. We shall now take a look at the animation and understand how the wires are jointed. Lay down both the XLPE cables facing each other. We shall now make the preparation. Make a mark on the outer sheath based on the cable size. Open the outer sheath with a manual saw or a cutter on the mark. Expose 40 mm armoring and 20 mm inner sheath. Remove cable filler until copper tape screen is exposed. Remove tape screen for 175 plus F mm. Cut the tape screen. Do not cut the semiconductive layer. F is equal to half connector length. We will now remove the semiconducting layer. There are two methods: through semiconducting layer HLS, through rat tail file. Firstly, we will understand how to remove the layer with the help of a HLS tool. There are two parts of the tool, red and the black parts. Red part, put the blade of the red part of the tool 20 mm from the copper tape screen cut edge. Black part, put the black part beside the red part. Set direction of the red part of the tool and make a 4 round cut first, followed by a charging direction to give 3 or 4 longitudinal cuts. Pull out the semiconductive layer. The second method is by rat tail file. Apply PVC tape over tape screen and extend 10 mm to semiconductor layer. Roll the constant 4 spring on top of the PVC layer and use rat tail file to file nice square cut bag. Use rolled emery cloth to further smoothen the semiconductive cut edge. Use cutter gently to make the lateral or longitudinal layer to pull semiconductive layer. Do not cut into the XLPE insulation. Pencil the XLPE insulation using penciling tool. Expose 5 mm of the inner semiconductive layer. Remove XLPE at half conductor length plus 5 mm. Smoothen the penciled area with emery cloth grade 150. Open XLPE insulation at the end of the cable core. Smooth them using emery cloth grade 400. Park copper screen sleeve over each core. Repeat the above steps for cable B. Install connector according to connector installation instructions. Clean the XLPE insulation and connector with cable cleaning tissue RT. Apply 2 half-lapped layer of the semiconductive tape CP61 over the connector area and inner semiconductive layer. Measure diameter over the tabbed connector by using vernier calipers. Record the value. Set the calipers to the recorded value plus 22 mm. This shall be the final outer diameter after tapping. Apply insulation tape CP62 over the semiconductive layer up to 11 mm thickness. Make a cone of 60 mm length at two ends as shown. CP62 wrapping should be ended 10 mm away from the conductive screen. Remove the PVC tape on the copper tape screen. Apply semiconductive tape CP61 over the insulation tape extending 10 mm onto the copper tape screen. Abrade 80 mm of the cable outer sheath with emery cloth grade 150. Cover armor with mastic tape CP64. Next, slide and stretch the tinned copper sleeves 1.6 m on each cable core and secure it with small constant force spring equal to 2 PS per core. Secure 3 of them onto the armor with one large constant force spring on each side. Apply mastic tape CP64 over constant force springs and cable other sheath. Wrap spaces tape CP75 over the entire joint with 50% overlap. Place one injection valve at the center top of the joint. Secure the position of injection valve by applying restricting tape CP71W around it. Wrap 3 half-taped layers of CP71W over entire joint. Wrap 1 half-lapped layer of pressure tape CP75. Apply with 50% overlap area. Make a vent hole around 30 mm in length parallel to the direction of the cable joint at around 10 mm from end edge of the CP75 space a tape on both sides of cable. Now we shall prepare the cast resin. Place the resin bag into resin injection bag. Tear the external aluminium bag and mix the two liquid inside the resin bag for 2 to 3 minutes. Insert resin into the joint body. Do not backfill or move joint for 2 hours. The jointing of XLPE cable is now complete. Having understood the jointing of cables, let's now take a look at the types of joints. Straight through joint, T or branch join, termination or sealing end join, sleeve type join, cast resin joint. The basic types of cable jointing accessories available in the country at present are joint sleeves with insulating and bitumen-based filling compound suitable for jointing cables of voltages up to and including 33 kilovolts. Cast resin-based cable accessories suitable for jointing cables of voltages up to and including 11 kilovolts. Other accessories such as heat shrinkable tubes, taped joints and slip-on or pre-molded joints are also in use. IEEE 48 categorizes the terminations into three types. They are Class 1 termination, Class 2 termination, Class 3 termination. Click each of the tabs to learn more. Class 1 termination provide electrical stress grading at screen terminus, non-tracking insulation surface between live and earth points, complete environmental sealing at the point of lug connection, the crotch, the earth connection. Class 2 termination provide stress control at screen cutback, external insulation leakage between live point and earth point. Class 3 termination provide stress control at screen cutback. The figure on the screen depicts the T-joint positions for jointing dissimilar cables. Different types of cable, example between XLPE and PILC cables, 3-core cable to 3-1-core cables and vice versa, different cross-section cables, etc. Submersible cable, multi-core control cable, flexible rubber trailing or minimum cable. Jointing kits are available for the cables of the type XLPE or PVC or PILC or rubber power cable from 1.1 kilovolts to 220 kilovolts. The figure on the screen depicts the T-joint for a 3-core cable. brings you to the end of the course. Here is a quick recap of the points learnt in the course. Electric power can be transmitted or distributed either by overhead system or by underground cable. The power cable mainly consists of conductor, insulation, inner sheath, armor, PVC outer sheath. The guidelines for laying the cables are as per the IS 1255-1983. There are various methods of laying cables and installation. They are laying direct in ground, drawing of cables from cable drum, laying on racks in air, laying on racks inside a cable tunnel, laying along buildings or structures. There are 5 types of joints. They are straight through joint, T or branch joint, termination or sealing end, sleeve type joint, cast resin joint. Click Next to proceed to the post test.